Ricardo. Thank you for taking the time for doing an interview. And I start with the first question. What inspired you to become a tennis coach?
Okay, thank you, Lino, for this opportunity. First, it was not an inspiration. My inspiration was to play tennis, but I started to try to coach when I was 20 years old, 21, to help my studies when I was in university, to have a little bit of money. But I think after 1 or 2 years of coaching, I become really passionate about coaching and improving other players, especially the younger players, and sharing my knowledge to them. And I started to think that I could become a very good coach if I wanted to. So after a while, even that my degree is in economics, I pursued this tennis coaching career because I think, in reality, I think I could be very good at this. And also, I have this passion for improvement. As a player, you like to improve every day. And as a tennis coach, you like to see your players also improving every day that they come to you at practice. So that's this part of, improving every day to become better. That's really my passion.
How did you get started in teaching tennis?
Well, I started teaching tennis when I was in university, in my second or third year. First, it was more to help to finance my studies, and then these coaches, they give me the opportunity to work in this club. And after 1 or 2 years, I became really passionate about coaching, and so I think I'm a coach since 2001, so it's been 25 years.
What is your coaching philosophy, if you have one?
It's always it's not a short answer usually, but I would say that my coaching philosophy is for you to become a better athlete, to move better, to have a good footwork, and that's for beginners or advanced players. I want them to know how to run and to move better, because I think then hitting the ball will be much easier, and that will be the easiest part, to teach the technique of the shots. But to run and move better, I think that's the biggest challenge, and that's where I usually start.
Yeah, how do you tell your coaching methods to different skill levels?
Well, as I said before, like for me, the movement and the running and the footwork is very important, and I usually for me that's a very important part, because beginners have a more simple beginner's footwork, and an advanced player has a more advanced footwork. But of course, I also look if the technique is good, and in all levels. But I think sorry, I was nowhere. You have to cut all this because I completely forgot.
No problem. It says the next question.
No.
How do you tell your coaching methods to different skill levels?
As I said before, I think the coaching method stays more or less the same. But of course I adjust to if it's a beginner level or a advanced level, because the footwork is different. When you are a beginner, you can only do a few things. The technique fundamentals from the beginner or advanced, they are very similar. The forehands and the backhands, they don't change that much, but of course you have to do different adjustments, because an advanced player can do a little bit more things, and a beginner has to do things a little bit more simple. But I would say the method doesn't change that much. But of course the level of difficulty that changes a lot. And of course, when you're talking about an advanced player, then the fitness part and the mental part is very important, and then you have to coach that a little bit more on the court and off the court. But I would say more or less the methodology, it's more or less the same from beginners to advanced.
What are the most common mistakes you see beginners make?
Well, usually it's the spacing. What I mean spacing is the space between you and the ball. Or they are very close, or they are very far, and usually they don't have a good position to hit the ball. So that's why I said before, I worry about how they move and how they position themselves to hit the ball. Because if you are not in the right place, if you are very close to the ball, or if you are very far, or if you are not ready to hit the ball, then you're not going to play very well. So I'm more worried about that, because I think when you are a beginner, you don't really know if the ball is going to be high, if it's going to be low, if the ball is going to bounce very high, or it's going to be a short ball. So this reading of the ball and approaching the ball, that's the most common mistake of beginners.
How do you help students improve their mental game?
That's a good question. Usually when we talk about mental game, we're talking about more in a competition level, playing tournaments, and of course you can do a few things on practices, like you create a few more difficulties, or you create a different scoring when you are playing points. You can say, for instance, sometimes say that this point is not just 1 point, its value is 3 points, or now you have to play and you are losing 4-2, things like that, changing the scoring. But usually when you improve the mental game is more when you are on tournaments with the players, and you can see them if they are good in competing or not, and how you can help them. Because in practice you see more the technical side, a little bit of the tactical side too, a little bit of fitness, of course. But the mental side of tennis you only see in competition, and for that the coach has to see the player competing in tournaments and see how can you help them. But this is where all the players are different in how you help them. Because you ask me to say what things do you do? And the answer is I do a lot of different things depending on the player, and that's probably one of the parts that I like more on coaching tennis, is because you have to find the best way to improve the mental strength of the player. And not all the player is not every player is the same. They're all different, and that's what I think it's interesting. Because if it was all the same written in a book, that would be very easy, and not all people could coach. So I think it's very interesting that when it's a young player, if it's a boy, maybe it's different from a girl. If he or she's older, then the mental exercises and the mental tips are different. So I don't have just a short answer for that. It's like a lot of different things.
Can you describe your training regime for adult players?
I think for adult players and even young players, first I like the practice to start more after a warm-up. I like them to start to control the ball very slowly and nice, even if the technique is not perfect. And I like them to start to control the ball for a long time. And after that, I like to do a little bit of technical exercises. And after that, I like them to have fun. And to have fun for me is they have to run, they have to play points. Maybe the points can be without serve or with serve, or the points can start in a way that I think it's best, or they can start with 2 balls cross court and 1 long line, and then they start a point, things like that. But I want them to run and have fun, and if they are when the practice finishes, if they are not sweating, if they didn't run, that's not a good practice for me. So I think that will be the most important thing. It's you're an adult, you come here to have fun and do some exercise. And tennis is a healthy sport, but if you don't run, it's not so healthy. So I want them to run.
What drills do you find most effective for developing footwork?
For developing footwork, you can do a lot of things without the ball, with coordination, with feet and with the leather, jumping, skipping rope, skipping, with a rope, things like that. But usually on the court, it's where I'm close to the player and I feed the ball with my hands, and then I can manipulate and make them move in a way that I want. So if I want to play a difficult ball, I can feed the ball, throw in a difficult position, so he has to do something, or he does alone or with my indication. Sometimes I don't say anything to see if they can do, and if they cannot do, then I help. I usually start like that. But I like to do like being close to the player and throwing balls, difficult balls, or balls to the body, or balls to the left, balls to the right, and that's where I like to improve the footwork, is with a tennis ball, and for them to move to the ball or around the ball and hit it. And there's a lot of different ones.
2 more questions. 2. How do you approach teaching serve techniques?
Okay, that's a good question. What do I do? Usually for beginners is that I do progressions. What I mean is that I first do simple things, even like throwing a ball, or throwing one ball with the left and then throwing the other with the right, even when I have, maybe I have to do some justice here, but sometimes I like that they start in the trophy position, and then they hit, and then I do everything. So I usually like progressions, not doing everything at once, because at least for the beginners, I think they are not very coordinated, and I like to start with small things, and then I do a little bit of everything. So I can do exercises and say, don't move your legs, just do this, and then, okay, now we do everything. So I would say the method is more or less, it's a progression. There's a lot of different things. If you are an advanced player, things are a little bit different. It's more detailed. The details are very important, and usually the funny thing about serve is that you are always improving the serve. Like, I think your forehands and backhands are the same for since you are a kid until you are an adult, but you are always improving your serve just a little bit. There's a lot of details that you can improve on an advanced player, and that makes it very, very interesting.
What are key characteristics of a successful tennis player?
Well, I think for me is how you deal with because a successful tennis player has to work a lot every day. So it's a lot how he approaches every day and how he works. So his work ethic should be good, even if he's very talented. He has to work hard and to be smart and listen to the coaches. So the way he improves on the part of the process of training, he has to be very focused and try to improve every day. That's very, very important. But then, of course, I would say, because when you're talking about competing, I would say that the most successful players are they have a lot of courage. They are very courageous. They don't, not many times they have fear, not fear of losing or fear of winning too much. They have courage, and they have a really a great passion about tennis. That's the other thing. I think you can always work hard every day if you really, really love tennis. Because really have a passion for tennis, it's really important. Then you have to work hard, and of course, some players compete better than others. Some players like to play 3 hours, and they are very good, and they don't look they don't look tired. They really want to win. So you are competing with just one player, so you have to really be, have I would say you need also a big heart, in a way that you need to have a big, like, you really want to win. I know it's an easy thing to say, but some sacrifice more than others. So I think that's a very important thing.
Thanks for answering the questions, and thanks for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity.